Welcome back, everyone. It's 6:15, and it is time to round up a hot topic from this week. The Texas Senate has passed stricter ethics rules for state legislators. The bill would limit lawmakers becoming lobbyists immediately after leaving the legislature and post their financial statements online. It would also require all Texas elected officials to undergo drug testing. The bill now heads to the House. But some say the bill is unfairly targeting the livelihoods of legislators outside the Capitol, while others say it paints all lawmakers as crooks. The Senate ethics bill is our topic this half hour, and we want to hear from you. You can weigh in on our Fox 26 Facebook page and on Twitter. Be sure to use the hashtag Fox26forlife. Joining us live in the newsroom is our senior legal analyst, Chris Tritico, our news analyst, Mustafa Tamiz, and former Harris County GOP chair, Jared Woodfill. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
All right, so what do you think about this bill, and should we all be concerned about what our lawmakers are doing away from the state house?
Such a great debate that this bill that was eventually unanimously passed by the Senate may fail in the House of Representatives because apparently they object to the drug testing aspect of this. And so, as Jared said, I'm going to let him comment on it in a second here, they want to go out and campaign. Yes, we didn't want to have to be drug tested and let you know what we're doing. Amazing. The big fight in the Senate over this, which was eventually stripped out, was referral fees for lawyers working on cases while they are elected officials. This was really, as the Democrats painted it, a direct attack at Wendy Davis and other senators who are practicing law, because they left in the ability to get fees for real estate and other things. So, Mustafa, what's the big deal here? Why would the House of Representatives say we don't want to be drug tested and we like the lobbyists being able to give us money? Isn't that really what they're saying?
Look, the Senate is a much smaller chamber. A lot of the things there got worked out that were contentious and they were personal. But I'm really not impressed by this. The real problem in politics to win the public confidence is not these small type of changes. The bigger issue is the money in politics, the money from special interests. And this bill did not address that at all. So to me, it's kind of like putting lipstick on a pig. It doesn't make a whole lot of change.
But Texas really can't, in the wake of Citizens United, Texas really can't come in and say you can't put money in politics anymore, can they?
That's right. And you know, if you go back to what was the intention of our legislator, how did we form it? We wanted citizen legislators, a legislator that met every 2 years for 140 days. So these folks would actually go back and live under the laws that they created. The problem becomes is too many people go to Austin for that short, yeah, they go for that short 140 days, and they make a livelihood out of everything associated with that. Right. So I think we have to be sensitive to a couple of things. One, not allowing the process to be abused, and two, full disclosure. We need to know where they're getting their money, how they're getting their money, and that's something the public should be able to evaluate at the election law.
And wasn't that the referral fee? Wasn't that really a direct attack at Wendy Davis?
You know, there's a lot of lawyers up there, I think, that actually get their compensation through referral fees. They're full-time legislators, if you will, when we're really supposed to have a part-time legislator. And so that is a big issue and concern. And so I think these are common sense reforms. I mean, who would object to being drug tested? And if you're objecting to that, go campaign on it. I don't think you're going to be too successful.
That's right. Let me go to Sally. She's monitoring our social media.
Okay, one of our guys from the Houston Chronicle, Matt Schwartz, says, what are the chances Texas lawmakers agree to be drug tested with the results posted publicly? And then John says, sounds like a good idea, but the courts won't allow. Is that true, that the courts may not allow this then, Chris? I
don't know how a court could intervene on that, on a law that says candidates have to be drug tested. It's not a First Amendment issue in my view. Jared, do you see any? No. I can't think of a constitutional challenge to that law.
I don't think there would be one.
Yeah, so I think if they pass it, it's going to happen. And it's not just the legislature. It's every elected official in Texas. The dog catcher has to be drug tested. And the interesting thing will be when they make marijuana legal, and you have this drug testing policy and all these legislators.
That's a whole nother topic.
There's lots of issues with drug testing, right? One, what kind of drug test would they allow? Because they wouldn't allow the most stringent one. They're going to have probably the one that's least
right.
Pick up, you know, and the bigger issue to me is alcoholism, right? I mean, and there's no way to test for that because I've been with the legislature, not just in Texas, and lots of other legislatures.
There's a lot of alcohol.
There's a lot of other stuff that's out there that should be there.
I want to talk about.
But I want to go back to the money part, because I do think that you can limit in Texas. You can give unlimited amount of money to any representative, and hundreds of thousands of dollars are given by individuals to individual representatives. The city of Houston, for example, is a $5,000 limit per person, right? There's lots of limitations that they can do to manage money. But if you notice, there was no mention of it whatsoever.
Right.
Well,
let's talk about, I want to go to the lobbying, because what this bill does is it limits you, when you leave the legislature, to 2 years before you can become a lobbyist. It also cuts out a loophole. You know, lobbyists can only spend so much per person, so several of them would band together, spend a lot of money, split the tab, and then make it all okay. This bill says we can't do either of those anymore.
Well, and I think that's a common sense reform. We don't want lobbyists running our government. We want the people running our government. And the best lobbyist out there is a citizen lobbyist. And that's why we've always encouraged people to call, to write, email, to go to the offices, use social media. Let your voices be heard, because you're the folks at the voting booth who's going to make a difference as to whether or not these people continue their jobs.
When you write a check for $250,000 to a representative, you don't need a lobbyist. You don't even need to tell the person what is it that you want, because the legislator's job is to figure it out and do it for you. That's the real problem.